Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is Dctree-Nation, the channel on YouTube that covers hoops and heroes. And today we're talking hoops, we're talking Landale, y'all. And I really had high hopes for this guy, but he's had setback after setback between injuries and concussions and COVID. You know, he just hasn't had a chance to get it together, so they sending him down to Austin. And I'm telling you, bro, he is beasting, man. He's beasting like the Hulk. He's beasting more than Hugh Jackman. Listen, Landale is beasting more than Broly was that time.
He's getting stronger.
Y'all know what I'm trying to say, man. He's hooping on the offensive end for the Austin Spurs, and I am exaggerating just a little bit by him beasting because all his plays are pretty finesseful. Is that a word? Finesseful? They're skillful, okay? But before I jump too deep into it, if you like my content, please sub to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to hit that bell for more videos. Thank you so much for the continued support. Okay, just like I said in the intro, I am exaggerating a little bit. You know, he's not like bulldozing people over like the Incredible Hulk or like Broly off of DBZ, but he is having monster numbers in the G League as far as scoring, man. 26 points one night, 28 points the next night, and his game is very skillful, man. He has a little finesse touch to his game, you know, a little jump hook. You know, he was able to hit some mid-range jumpers, and he definitely can hit the three. So all that to me is big time. It is a monster game from Landale. And if you're a fan of the channel, I actually had this guy projected as a starter, you know, at some point this year. Now, granted, Pirtle is playing out of his mind, so he is definitely our starter, and that's not going to happen. But I do think Landale is going to work his way in the rotation because of his ability to hit the three-point shot, man. I cannot stress that enough because the Spurs have no stretch fours or stretch fives. None. Zero. Nada. You know, we don't have anyone that can pull people away from the basket, giving Derek White, giving DeJounte Murray a lane to the hoop. And that's something we need to address. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. That is why I was not a big fan of the Luka cutting. I just wasn't a fan of that because I know that he wasn't performing, but he still had the potential to be that stretch four that we needed. Now, Landale has shown that he has that range, maybe not consistently where he can be like a 3-and-D player, but enough to keep the defense honest. And that's what he's been doing with the Austin Spurs these last couple games. You know, he's hit, you know, straightaway threes, you know, early in the game, and then all game long after that, he would just pump fake the three, move in closer, and do the mid-range jumper. And that's how you play basketball. You keep them honest, and then they get so afraid of you making that three, you move in closer and you hit that bucket. And that's what Landale was doing. But I was more surprised by the fact that he was using the jump hook so consistently, so skillfully. You know, that's something we need, man. We need a back to the basket type person. You know, maybe not for the entire game because honestly the NBA game has changed so much, but you know, when we go through those scoring droughts, it'd be nice to throw it into a big man that can, you know, use a jump hook or whatnot. So I like the skill set that this guy has, man. I like the fact that he can score almost anywhere around the floor, you know, close up, mid-range, 3-point. That's beautiful, man. And that's something we're lacking as a team because I mean Pirtle is much improved this year. Eubanks has been doing solid, but those jokers don't make mid-range jumpers. Those jokers definitely don't make threes. So, you know, Landale, man, this guy could be huge for us. Another thing about Landale's game that I noticed, you know, while watching him play in Austin is his soft touch around the basket. You know, he has a very soft touch. And when I say touch, I mean like passing ability. You know, he can, you know, the high-low game is really good with Landale when he has someone else with him. There was brief glimpses of him and Primo having some chemistry here and there. So it was good to see that, you know, he was looking for his teammates. He had a few assists each of those games that he's played. So, I mean, the potential is there for a guy like Landale. There's a lot of potential. One thing about him that I will worry about is his athleticism. He did kind of seem very low to the basket, close to the ground, I should say. Like, he didn't have a whole lot of lift. He was able to dunk the ball. He was able to do those things, but he did seem a little stiff. So I'm curious to see how he would, perform against more athletic players, especially at the 4. The 4 position used to be a position where, people were stockier and back to the basket type players, but nowadays, man, these guys are jumping out the gym, handling the ball like guards. So when you think about those type of things, because I don't think he's a center per se, I think he's more of a 4. That is a question about him, his defensive prowess on the perimeter. And that also could be the reason why his rebound numbers aren't fantastic. Like, they're not bad, they're solid, but they're not above average by any stretch of imagination. Now, that could have just been these couple games, but just looking at him move around the court, I don't know if he'll ever be like, a huge rebounder for this team, and he did seem a little shorter than I thought he was too. I don't know why, I don't know if that translates well on the television, but I was looking like, man, he just seems smaller than I thought he was. So that could be another reason. But hey, we won't know anything for sure until he plays against NBA talent consistently, and I see him, 5-10 games, get some burn, and then I can make a better decision. But based off these 2 games, his offense, his skill is there. His athleticism, he's not an athletic player, but he does find his way in the paint, and he loves to mix it up. And that's what the Spurs need, man. Someone to mix it up, someone to give the defense a different look. Well, I gave you a breakdown of all his strengths, some of his weaknesses, the fact that I'm excited for this guy. But I don't tell you something, none of that means anything if Greg Popovich doesn't play him. And I don't know what he has to do to get out of Greg Popovich's, doghouse. I don't even know if he's in the doghouse. He's just in the rookie house. Greg Popovich does not play rookies, man. He just does not give these guys an opportunity. So I don't know what he has to do to, convince Pop to give him some burn, because there have been plenty of times that Landale should have played, man. He should have played a few minutes. We had games where Keldon was out. We had games when Pirtle was in foul trouble. We had games where, he won't play, where we were getting killed inside. One game in particular, when Boban was tearing us up in the paint. I'm like, yo, throw Landale out there, just foul him or something, So it's just a perplexing situation just to see Landale not get any burn, to get the DNPs. Like, that is crazy to me. He should get something. So hopefully this G League experience opens up Pop's eyes and this guy can get some burn. I'm not saying play 15 minutes a game, but can you give him 5 minutes so we can see what he can do? All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you for kicking it with me. Make sure you check out the other videos on the channel, and also leave a comment telling me how you feel about this Landale situation. All right, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace.